Hi everyone, and welcome to the Capital One Grand Slam of Curling. We are live streaming the semifinals today, and your votes have spoken. Through a fairly overwhelming majority, we'll be broadcasting you the Kevin Martin-Brad Gushue game here in Dawson Creek, British Columbia. My name is Matt Kelly. I'm here with very handsome Jerry Gertz. Jerry, how are you?
Thank you, Matt. How are you doing today?
Jerry, we're at the Pomeranian and Suites National, and bring our fans up to date quickly on what's been going on, and we'll take them straight to the game.
We had our quarterfinals this afternoon at noon Mountain Time. It's now 6 o'clock here, and we've got the semifinals on the ice.
And who are we watching today?
We've got Glenn Howard taking on Jim Cotter in the second game, and our featured game is Kevin Martin against Brad Gushue.
Remember, you can leave comments and questions. If you go onto Twitter, use the hashtag GSOC. We'll try to address them, and we will cover both games, but right now we're going to take you to Brad Gushue and Kevin Martin. Now, folks, we're going to lose Jerry for a few minutes since he's messed up his own dinner order, which is very difficult to do. So I'll do my best just to keep silent and allow you to enjoy this wonderful event here. But do me a favor, please let us know how you feel about everything so far, what you'd like to see by using the hashtag GSOC, and we'll do our best to bring you some World Championship curling. Folks, if you're wondering why there's silence in the building, it's because Jerry Gertz is furious with his dinner order. We'll address that later on. We're having a wonderful time here at the beautiful Encana Event Center in Dawson Creek, British Columbia. But if there's one thing that could have derailed the beginning of this broadcast, it's Jerry Gertz having a difficult time getting his hamburger order. But he's back now. Jerry, tell everyone why you're ruining this experience.
Okay, Matt. That is more than enough. So what has happened so far in the game, Matt? Can you tell me?
Just a whole lot of great curling here, Jerry, at the Capital One Grand Slam of Curling. We're, of course, at the third event, the Pomeranian Inn and Suites National.
We've got a whole lot of passive-aggressive going on up here in the broadcast booth.
Kevin Martin is battling it out with Brad Gushue.
So who are you picking?
Well, in the last one we had the quarterfinals live streamed, of course, on grandslamofcurling.com. We were covering Team Olsrud versus Team Gushue. I chose Team Olsrud. I did not win that one. But I don't think I had first pick, so I'm going to pick Team Gushue now.
You're going with Gushue this time.
I'm going to go with Gushue. I know that perhaps for many people, Kevin Martin is the favorite. Sliders, of course, ruining the concentration of our cameraman. We'd like to ask him to get back to the game, but we'd like to see what Slider's up to for the wonderful fans here in Dawson Creek, British Columbia. Of course, if you are in the Dawson Creek area, we recommend you come down to the finals tomorrow. Jerry, what time are the finals?
We're on at 11 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow.
Looking forward to it.
11 o'clock Mountain Time.
Mountain Time it is, everyone. So if
1 o'clock
you're in and around Dawson Creek, please come on down. 2 of the 4 teams we're seeing today should be there. And Jerry, take us up to speed on the game so far, since you obviously abandoned your duties for your dinner.
Well, at this point, it's fairly open. Martin's going to try and draw one to the outside here with Kennedy's shot. Looks like we're probably going to get a blank here in the first end. Just a little update on head-to-head record with these 2 teams. You know, picking Gushue is not a bad choice in this matchup. He's had some success against Kevin, both in the Brier and in the Grand Slam series as well. So don't expect a cakewalk here for Kevin Martin. Martin won the last matchup in the 2011 Victoria Curling Classic last April. They have not played yet this season. Gushue won their 2 matchups at the Brier last year, and Martin won in the 2010 Players Championship against Gushue. So, you know, they split their last 2 matches against each other.
Just following some of your tweets on Twitter. If you're using the hashtag GSOC, then we will gladly read them out during the broadcast. Dana Dixon says she's looking forward to an evening of curling. We all are. I think it's going to be great. Of course, we are concentrating on the matchup here between the former Olympic teams, Gushue and Martin. However, Glenn Howard is taking on surprise of the tournament, Jim Cotter, who's made it into the semifinals, and we will update you on that game, and depending on how things go, we will have a few video shots for you. Jerry, in that matchup, Howard versus Cotter, who are you taking?
You know what? It's hard to pick against Glenn Howard in this situation. They're playing so well this weekend, and I think I'm gonna go with that team.
All right, so I have Gushue Cotter. You're taking Howard Martin.
Feels pretty good.
And we saw Gushue. We talked a lot about them during their matchup against Ulsrud. Tell us about Kevin Martin. How have they been doing this year? And tell us about some of their team members.
Kevin Martin, his lead stone is Ben Hebert. Second is Mark Kennedy. Third is John Morris and skip Kevin Martin. The team's had a decent season. A bit quiet for their standards. They haven't played as much as they normally do, and it's something that, you know, I think that's probably a good idea for this team, considering the heavy load of the Olympic year and a lot of the extra things that go into being an Olympic champion, you know, personal appearances and stuff like that they're taking advantage of now.
I know on tour they haven't won either of the events, but they did win an event that got them an Olympic qualification spot already. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, that was the Capital One Canada Cup, and it was a very important event to the team. The win in the final over Glenn Howard qualifies the team directly to the 2013 Olympic trials in Winnipeg. So, you know, one of the comments the team had was to them that I heard from them was that like, what are we going to do with ourselves for the next 2 years? The chase is on for the rest, for the other 7 spots. Sorry, now. So, and they're in safe, and they'll wait for the rest of the field to join them. Just on the season, Kevin Martin's record is 35-11, so, you know, they've played very well all year. Just not quite the number of games you would normally expect from a team like Martin.
For those of you who are tuning in now, we've seen our numbers jump up to almost 400, which is great, and we hope you do enjoy the coverage. Jerry Gertz is our in-house curling expert, more of a stats guy. I am not so much. However, I will be reading your tweets on air, so if you have any commentary, any analysis, by all means, please let us know, and we will do our best. We've had a lot of fun with this the last 2 broadcasts we've done. We did the quarterfinals, Ulsrud and Gushue, and we also did McHugh and Cooey for a spot in the final, in the playoffs, I should say. Both are now out, but it's been a lot of fun. However, Martin Gushue was the overwhelming vote from the fans on Facebook. They said they wanted to see this matchup, so we're happy to bring it to you.
One of the things that I hear that I hear a lot from the fans is that the same teams all the time, but it's always interesting that it's still, everyone wants to see Martin play. The majority of the people show up to watch this team play. And we'll get, if we happen to get the Martin Howard final, again, it's the same two teams that you see in a lot of these finals. And to be honest, I really enjoy when two teams like that match up. You're going to get the brilliant shot making and a very fun game to watch.
If Howard doesn't make the final of this event, we will have had 6 different teams in the last 3 events at the Slams here. Is that common for this tour, or is that just an anomaly for this season?
I think you're starting to see some of the young teams break through now, and that's changing, showing a little bit of the changing of the guard at the top, and I think that's great for the Slam. I do like seeing these new faces out here and having some success as well. When you look back over the history of the Slams, though, checking out the 4 or 5 different trophies from these events, you really see a lot of similar names on them all. Madaw, Howard, Martin, Stoughton, take up majority of the titles won. So it's something that it's good to see it changing the guard a little bit. And Gushue won this event 2 years ago for his first Slam title, and we're going to see Gushue get on that trophy a few more times too, I believe.
So they blanked the first end there, Jerry. A good decision. Who does this favor?
Definitely favors Brad Gushue here. Kevin Martin this is one of the stats that we talked about a couple of years ago. Last season. And Kevin Martin, when he scores 2 in the first end with the hammer, is nearly unbeatable. At the time, I don't have the new numbers in front of me, and I don't think he has lost a game since we talked about this as well, but he was something like 72-1 when he scores 2 in the first end. Getting off to a simple 2-point lead for Kevin Martin is the end of the game. So when you look at Martin, you either need to blank that first end and keep it tight, or you need to go super aggressive and try and steal or force one. Because if you give up 2, you might as well give up 6.
Wow. Very bold statement coming from one Jerry Gertz. Jerry, remind our viewers, we've had a few wonderful special guests in the booth with us, and it also gives me a break from listening to you talk. Pierre Charette joined us during the McEwen-Cooey game, and of course, wonderful coach of team Brad Gushue joined us during the quarterfinals.
That was Baz Kavanaugh.
He was a wonderful conversationalist, unlike my current counterpart. We may have some celebrity guests. I see some Norwegians in the building. One can't be too sure. We may have some celebrity guests, but please keep your questions coming in by using the hashtag GSOC, and we will do our best to address them. Jerry Gertz is, of course, the stats king, so if you have any complicated statistical questions, fairly certain Jerry can handle them.
I had a question from Tony DeRazio just before the broadcast started, and he asked, what do the stats diff divided by 5 and sweep divided by 10 mean? And these are part of the new stats package that we've added to the Grand Slam series as well. It's used in some world championships, national championships as well. And diff is degree of difficulty. So when the shots are tracked, every shot is given a degree of difficulty based on the description of the shot. Was it a run back? Was it a double? Was it a guard in play? And so on. So a player will take their degree of difficulty, multiply it by the score on their shot to give them a true percentage. And sweeping is used as a way to track the percentage or the distance of players' rock has been swept. And the reason for this is it's a great indicator to tell, how well a player is throwing along with their statistics. And it's separate from shooting percentage. And a great example in this situation is Kevin Martin. He loves to cheat his intern. He throws it tight every time and makes her sweeper sweep it from end to end. If you watch this tonight, you'll see this from time to time with Kevin, where he knows he's got such a great sweeping tandem in front of him that he can then, use them a little bit more and cheat to the right side. and he's got that room for error that sweeping allows. So you'll see Kevin Martin's sweep factor be very high, probably in the 50-60% range for his in-turn shots. So, it allows you to kind of get an idea. So now if Kevin Martin is throwing, his in-turn hits at 40% or 30%, he's not either putting the broom in the right place or he's floating it a little wide. So it's a bit of an early indicator for missing.
And folks, that kind of commentary will be available throughout the entire broadcast. So if you find that to be riveting, as I do, please keep those questions coming. Or if you're like Nicole Jackson, she just says that she likes Norwegians. As do I. Nicole, I appreciate that. But again, Jerry's here throughout the entire broadcast to give long-winded answers to simple questions. And Jerry, we all appreciate that.
Anytime, Matt.
Jerry, when did you get into curling? You said you were a young man?
I'm a first-generation curler, which is a bit rare in this sport. I started in elementary school in grade 7 phys ed class. We went out to the rink, and I've been, I really enjoyed watching the Brier Scotties finals when I was a kid as well, and it's something that drew me into the game. And went to high school, heard the announcement for a high school curling team, and the rest is history.
Now fill us in on the game here, Jerry. What is Brad Gushue trying to do to stay ahead of Kevin Martin?
Again, we've got another fairly boring end here. Gushue's just not taking any risks here. And they're just going to hit out, and we're likely going to see another blank end.
Why don't you give us an update then on the Cotter-Howard matchup? A little more action over there.
Yeah, first end of the Cotter-Howard game, we see 1-0 lead for Glenn Howard. Glenn takes a single. So Cotter's got Hammer here now playing the second end. Actually, we probably could go and cover a little bit of that game for this end while we just hit out here.
We could, Jerry, but that's not your call. You're here to call the action. Our wonderful technical producer, Jesse Wachter, will make that decision. Perhaps after this end, we'll give you some visual updates. But right now, we want to watch the two former Olympic teams representing Canada duke it out. Gushue's team is slightly different from his Olympic appearance. Jerry, why don't you tell us a bit about that? Who's left on the team and who's no longer around?
Well, the only remaining member from the 2006 Olympic gold medal winning squad is Brad himself. There have been several changes over the years, and last season, Mark Nichols, a longtime teammate of Brad's, stepped away from the game. At this point, it appears he's just taking a break, and will likely be back in the near future. Ryan Fry, who had played second with Brad for probably the last four years or so, stepped up from second to into the third spot. And Brad recruited a new front end, Adam Casey from Prince Edward Island, Canadian junior champion with Brett Gallant, and Jeff Walker, also a Canadian and world junior champion with Charlie Thomas. Jeff's actually a native of Beaver Lodge, Alberta, which is just down the road. Big giant beaver out on the side of the road as you drive by. You should get a photo on the way back home.
Do you have your photo?
I have a photo from last time. And so it's a little bit of a homecoming for Jeff here with bringing his new team back to the area.
Our video producer, Jesse Wachter, and I were on our way to Tim Hortons for some coffee. And we had a lovely conversation with the woman driving us. And she mentioned that the family is all here supporting their son. In fact, they had a bit of a security issue getting through. But his mother reminded everyone that after carrying him for 9 months, she had a perfect right to be front row center. And so we hope that they're all in the building right now. I'm sure it's a big moment to have him come home to this particular event here in beautiful Dawson Creek.
Yeah, Jeff's got a very solid curling pedigree, and last year he took his team to the the semifinals in the Alberta Provincials. So you know, it was a great run for the young team, and the opportunities that came out of it were set up Jeff really well.
All right, we're going to hold this shot here, Jerry. What are we looking at here? What are Brad and Kevin doing right now?
Just exchanging hits here. It's, you know, usually at the beginning of an end, you'll see two teams play a little bit of offense, a half shot miss, a rollout on a hit, and you'll start to see teams, you know, when they're being a little tentative like this, they'll just, you know, blank out the end and not take too much risk.
And folks, remember, we are giving you the Kevin Martin Brad Gushue game as your request on facebook.com/curlingslams. But we will be updating you on the Howard Cotter matchup in just a second. Right now it is 1-0 Glenn Howard. And in the game we're covering right now, it is 0-0. No score in the second end. Jerry, you have a question from Greg Blyde. He says, my skip does the backswing. What are your thoughts on lifting the rock off the ice in your delivery? And I remember there was one skip from, I guess it was the GP Car and Home World Cup who did that. Was it Ballston?
Yep. Ballston has, it's almost like the two-handed backswing release, and you can actually see some photos from the Canadian Open on the website. Sorry, the GP Car and Home World Cup on the website of him in his backswing, and it's quite interesting. To be honest, everybody has a delivery that they're comfortable with. It's just like your golf swing. It's something that you work with and you kind of go through. The one thing that's important is to make sure that it's a delivery that can be repeatable, and so that you can stick to it and keep good mechanics on your delivery. The key is being balanced and coming out square to the target.
The camera just swung over to the Howard Cotter matchup. We're going to give you a nice shot of what's going on over there for a second. Right now it is still 0-0 in the third end of the Martin Gushue game, but a few more rocks in play for Howard and Cotter. And Jerry, let's get some analysis here. What does Jim Cotter have to do to bring down the obvious favorite, Glenn Howard?
As a team, they're just going to have to shoot with Glenn. They're going to have to take advantage of the opportunities that Howard is going to give them. The one thing you look at a team like Glenn Howard, they make a lot of shots, and that's why they're so good. But they'll give you opportunities in the games to score your twos. And Glenn tends to play, as a way of, it's damage control. They don't, they don't make nearly as many hero shots as a team like Martin will make, but they make all. You watch them play, and it's like they make everything though. They make all the basic shots perfect, and it's hard to stop them from scoring back against you. So for Cotter, they're just going to have to make as many shots as Glenn, and I think the key is Jim, and he's going to have to make those big shots to score twos or threes at the end.
For folks just tuning in, we've broken the 500 viewer mark. We are definitely going to follow the Martin Gushue game as Jerry tries to distract me. But right now we're bringing you a quick update of Howard versus Cotter. A little more action in this one. We've also been following our good friends Team Nicholas Edin on Twitter. They've let us know that they are watching the NHL All-Star Game and our semifinal matchup at the same time. I know that they're very big Alfredson fans, so they're having the time of their lives. But if they are in the building, we welcome them to join us. Contact your local Jerry Gertz, and he will come find you. And we'd love to have you up here for a bit of commentary. We know that they had an interesting matchup against Kevin Martin. There's a knock at the door. I wonder if that could be them. But we are going to stick on Howard for just a few seconds. Let's get a bit of a close-up on the house there. As Jerry vacates the premises again, he's been performing a few disappearing acts on me. But folks, let us know what you think is going on in the matchup. We played the game during the Couey-McEwen draw during the final Friday night match, and we allowed you guys to tell us what you thought was going to happen. Some of you got it right, some of you did not. But let us know what you think Glenn and Jim are going to do now. We're on skip stones. And just a bit more action in this one than the Martin-Gushue matchup, which we will get back to in 1 minute. Ryan Slobojin, and if I'm mispronouncing your last name, I apologize, says he believes this will be the determining end for the rest of the game. So a bold statement from Ryan. But again, after losing my guest commentator, Jerry Gertz, once more, this time not for a hamburger. I can't actually tell you why he's left. Ryan is our curling expert right now on the broadcast. So thank you, Ryan. If anyone in the building has seen Jerry Gertz, please ask him to return to the broadcast booth. Jerry is, of course, balancing multiple duties today. He's providing all the wonderful stats on the page, GrandSlamOfCurling.com, as well as his World Curling Tour and Curling Zone sites. Jerry has returned once again. Jerry, we are taking a look at what Jim Cotter is seeing here. And please don't disappear on me again. What exactly is Mr. Cotter thinking?
Cotter's throwing red stones here. He's in a bit of a pickle here. This is probably, again, this is like the shot I described, the make the double, come through the hole and continue through. It's probably my favorite shot in curling. If he hits those two yellow rocks thin on the front, his shooter will continue through, and he may be able to make the triple, removing the yellow one in the house as well.
Jerry, I just want to remind you that our good friend Jeff Burch is back with us for the semifinals. He's mentioned that he is enjoying the slams, of course, and our commentary adds a lot of enjoyment. I'm fairly certain he's not talking about me, so I can only hope that you don't leave me one more time. If there's any more hamburgers you'd like me to get for you, I'll go get them myself. Jerry, you have a microphone. You're welcome to say it. But apparently you choose to write it down so I can let us know that Nicholas Edin will be joining us for the fourth end. If you're a big Nicholas Edin fan, and I know our cameraman, video producer, technical director, Jesse Wachter is, as he rings the cowbell. We are looking forward to having Nicholas here in the fourth end. Jerry, tell us right now what's going on here in the Howard Cotter matchup before we go back to Martin-Gushue.
It's a little bit of a miss by Cotter here. Unfortunately, he's left Howard sitting two in the rings. The one bonus here is that Cotter can make a double on those two stones to score. So Howard's going to have to remove third shot here, which is the Cotter red stone.
Stay focused, Jerry. Stay focused. The special guests keep on coming. We're about to fire Jerry Gertz so he can eat his hamburger. We are now joined by our very good friend Pierre Charette. Pierre is a multi-record holder, of course. We've told you all about his Brier records of playing everything from skip to lead. I'm sure he cleaned the ice a few times. Pierre's done it all. Jerry, it was wonderful having you here. Pierre, how are you doing?
Pretty good, thanks.
Pierre, we are providing coverage of the Martin-Gushue matchup, since that's what the fans have asked for. However, we've decided to show a bit of the Howard-Cotter game, because it looks like, as some of our friends on Twitter have told us, this could be the determining end for the entire game. So, Pierre, what does Jim Cotter have to do here?
Looks like Jim's got, from what I can see, all he has, I think, is a double to give up one, unless he makes a triple out of this, but it's going to be awfully difficult.
How aggressive a player is Jim Cotter?
It's not really his style of play. Like Jim likes to play a little more wide open normally. I didn't see the beginning of this and how it got this messy, but obviously it is. So I believe this is what he's going to try to do is at least make a double, and if he's just 2 down, it's not the end of the world. The third point is usually the point that I like to call the control point when you have a 3-point lead. Whenever you can stay in touch by no more than 2 points, you're still in the game.
Folks, we are sticking with this end here with Cotter Howard. We will get back to the Martin Gushue game. It appears there's a bit more action than the first 2 ends. But we'll be back there as soon as Jim Cotter throws his final stone here. And Pierre, what do you think is going to happen?
I think he'll make the double and give up 1. He's a very good, very accurate hitter. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. He overcurled and only got the double, but on the wrong side, lost his shooter and gave up a steal of 2. So, as some of the viewers have mentioned to you, this could be the determining point that when you give up a steal or 2 in a big game like this, it usually comes back to haunt you.
Well, the viewers are curling experts, and Jerry Gertz keeps leaving me for his hamburgers. But now that we have Pierre Charette here, Pierre, we're going to go back over to the Martin Gushue game. We're taking a look at the house, and what are we seeing here?
Well, Gushue's lying 2, and he's up to play his first rock. So I believe he's going to go around that center guard and just try to keep the pressure on Team Martin. Maybe put 1. I think he'd like to have it probably a full 4-foot, completely behind that center guard. Good opportunity here for Brad to put some pressure on Kevin, but he mustn't be too aggressive and go behind the tee, because Kevin will just freeze right back on it, and he'll do everything to score his deuce here. Sweepers are not really touching it so far. Now they're on it. Looks like he's got a good one. It's a good shot, biting the 4-foot. I think he might have wanted it a little deeper, but as you can tell, Kevin's going to try an aggressive shot here. He's going to try this little angle raise takeout and try to stick it behind those 2 centerline guards, and he would still then have a good chance to score his deuce. Big shot here early in the game. Not too much offense in the first 2 ends, and I'm sure Kevin wants to get off with a deuce, because statistics shows that when Kevin scores a deuce or takes a 2-0 lead in a game, he does not lose very many.
Wow. Pierre Charette throwing out the statistics, taking Jerry Gertz's job away from him.
No,
I can't say I'm disappointed.
I heard it from Jerry, so.
Oh, okay. So you're plagiarizing Jerry.
Look at this shot here. He made the shot, except I believe Brad probably sees at least half of that rock, and he should be able to get rid of it. And so his goal is now probably to punch it through the hole on the right side and force Kevin to draw for 1.
Folks, remember we've got Pierre Charette joining us for a little bit here. We've got lots of special guests lined up today. Jerry Gertz is, of course, eating his 3rd hamburger of the afternoon. He's abandoned me once again, but that's fine. He's easily replaced. Pierre is, of course, also throwing out the wonderful statistics. Pierre, well, what do we think is going to happen here in terms of what Mr. Gushue has to do to get some points on the board? Is that possible, or is he just...
right now, because Kevin made that nice shot, not perfectly, mind you, but he made it good enough that Brad cannot do anything very offensive on this one, so he's got to get rid of this rock. He's probably going to play a quiet weight, like a hack weight, try to punch it through the house, and force Kevin to draw, basically a full 8-foot for his point. That's about that. It looks like that's what he's throwing, about a hack weight. Sweeper's not touched it yet, so. So he punched it right through the hole. And his shooter rolls away and still biting, I believe, in the back. So line 3, and so Kevin's going to have to draw against 3 to score the first point of this game.
Is this something that Kevin Martin has any difficulty doing?
He probably makes that shot 96% of the times, even though I don't have Jerry's stats.
Well, Jerry's over here with a mouthful of burger. Jerry, is that about right? Give me a thumbs up. Thumbs up from Jerry Gertz.
I think I remember one time Kevin against my team missing a draw, a draw where he basically needs the 8 foot, and probably because he lost concentration or something. He was probably up 5 on us or something.
Because you were intimidating him? You're giving him the Pierre stare?
Probably not.
I've heard about it.
Probably not. I'm a little surprised he's going on the out turn here. There's quite a big hole on the in turn, and every draw to the button before each game, Kevin always plays the in turn. So sweepers are they seem to be pretty confident, pretty relaxed out there. So here it is, piece of the 4 foot, and then we finally got a point in this game.
Finally have a point in this game. It is 3-0 for Team Howard over Team Cotter, and Kevin Martin takes a 1-0 lead. Pierre, we want you to stick around, but we have too many guests to go through. I hope you don't mind.
Absolutely.
We have to bring in some Swedes to chat with us. Of course, they just had their own big matchups against Team Martin, so they can provide some in-depth analysis. But we do have the finals tomorrow. Will you join us for the finals for a little bit?
Yeah, I'll come for a little bit.
Okay.
So have a good broadcast, everybody, and I'm sure you'll be impressed with the next guest.
Thank you, Pierre. My good friend JJ has recommended, Matt, you should eat something. Maybe you'd be less cranky. JJ, I've tried to, but every time we bring a burger in here, Jerry Gertz gets his hands all over it. There's not too much I can do. We are now joined by our very good friend. He's had a wonderful season so far and was a finalist at the Players' Championship last year. Please welcome Mr. Nicholas Edin. How are you, Nicholas?
Thank you very much. I'm very good, thank you.
How's the NHL All-Star Game going?
We didn't watch too much of that, actually. We watched some of the skills competition at the restaurant during the dinner, but we had to leave for the semis now. So,
are you enjoying it so far?
Yes, yeah.
Do us a favor here. We're following the Martin Gushue game because we put it up on Facebook. We said fans could vote on which game they wanted to. Yeah. Overwhelming majority chose Martin Gushue. You know these two teams very well. Tell us what kind of matchup we're expecting today.
Yeah, two big names in curling, of course. Gushue is a great draw player. I think Martin is more of a hit take-up player. He's still great at draws as well, but it's I think he makes more of the big shots, and Gushue is more of a like a solid player. He makes all the shots really good, but if you fall into a trap with Martin, he'll win the game with a big shot. So it'll be an interesting match, and I think it'll come down to just a single shot here or there.
Nicholas, we've seen some high-scoring games in this event in particular. We're at the Pomeroy Inn and Suites National. This one, they blanked the first two ends. It's 1-0. What kind of a score can we expect against these two teams?
I think Gushue is taking it a bit slow in the beginning. He wants a more defensive game, I think, against Martin. Knowing Martin has a really strong team, and since Martin has hammer as well, he's definitely going to be more careful in even ends, like end 2, 4, 6. He's going to try and blank the end and not give Martin a deuce in those ends.
Everyone who's watching here at GrandSlamCurling.com, we've got quite a good little following here, and they can tweet in their questions to us. If they go to Twitter and use the hashtag GSOC, we've got one of the best curlers on tour right now, Nicholas Edin, has joined us. If you have any questions for Nicholas, he can't stay too long, so please get your questions in as quickly as possible. Nicholas, we're also watching the Howard-Cotter matchup right now. Cotter was a bit of a surprise. They went 4-1 during the round robin, and they've made it into the semis. They're down 3-0 right now, but what's a team like Jim Cotter's have to do to get by Glenn Howard?
Yeah, they've been playing really solid. They have had a really tough group as well to go through, and 4-1 was impressive. So they must have been playing well. I think they should stick to that plan, try and make as many shots as they can, obviously, but also maybe try and keep it a bit simple when Howard has hammer. They are so good at creating opportunities to get two. So they need to keep it a bit simpler without the hammer, and then go for the big ends with hammer.
Okay, Nicholas, we've got some fans of yours. Jackie Sunval just wants to say hi from Calgary. And is that where you guys will be staying or flying to?
Yeah, we'll stay the night in Calgary tomorrow, and then fly home from there.
And when's the next time you're going to be back in Canada?
Oh, it's for the Players' Championship. That's in April after Worlds. So it's like 9 weeks, I think.
Oh, that's nice. So you finally get some time in your own bed.
Yep. That'll be nice.
Do me a favor, Nicholas. One thing that came up during our broadcasts, we were doing the McEwen-Cooey game on Friday night. We did Gushue Ulsrud this afternoon for the quarterfinals, but we kept putting our cameras over to Nicholas Edin in his new blue hat. Tell us where the hat came from. Is this something that has just come about recently? What was that all about?
That is actually mostly about a bad haircut. So I was lazy during Christmas. Got myself some long hair that I needed to cover up, so it's mostly about that. I'll leave the cap
when you're happy with your hair.
Yeah.
Can you offer some tips to our good friend Jerry Gertz, because his hair has just been a disaster?
I actually saw his nice hat last time we played a slam, and I think it should stick to that.
Yeah, you recommend the hat for Jerry Gertz?
Yep.
But not a haircut.
Maybe that too, but just stick to the hat.
I'm going to tell you something. He told us that he's used a comb twice in his life. That's not something I made up. He told me personally.
Yeah?
Yeah, would you believe that?
I'm proud of him, yeah.
And Nicholas, where's the rest of your team? Are they enjoying this fine curling?
We're actually in one of the luxury suites just a couple of rows away, so they're probably enjoying the game. And
so they take care of you guys here?
What?
They take care of you on the slam?
Yeah, they do, yeah. Always. You guys in Canada always take care of us, and all the guys are friendly that we meet, and everybody wants to speak curling and speak about our game. And if we're having a good time in Canada, it's always social people around here, so it's good fun.
What's it like for you in Sweden? Are you guys, I mean, I don't know how popular a sport is it in Sweden, and are you guys seen as like high-level athletes? Do you get mobbed all the time on the streets?
We actually, like curling is a really small sport in Sweden. It's one of the smallest, I think. The only big thing is that it's in the Olympic program, but like none of the people in the streets know who we are. So it's when we come to Canada, more people know who we are than back home.
And you have a good time in Canada?
Yeah, always. Yeah.
How
That's
about
why we come back so many times? Yeah.
How's Dawson Creek been for you so far?
It's been good. We were here playing the Players' Championships 2 years ago, and we knew the place. We knew it was going to be like what to expect, and it's been good fun both times we've been here. So we really enjoyed it.
We have a question in for Nicholas Edin. Again, if you have questions, he can't stick with us for too long, so get them in quickly. Use the Twitter hashtag GSOC. Nicholas, how do you prepare for games and tournaments at this level? Is it mental, strategic, exercise, or physical?
A bit of everything, I'd say, but it's mostly about rest, actually. Like after the first couple of games, you don't get too much time in between the games, and then if you have the evening draw and then the morning draw, you get like 5 or 6 hours of sleep. So you need to get your rest, and we always have a meeting before every game and after every game, but in between that, you need some rest and just be at your room, think of something else, and then mentally prepare like an hour before the game.
Let me ask you about rest, because you guys had to compete in the tiebreaker this morning, and then you had to, of course, draw Kevin Martin in the quarterfinals. Would that lack of rest have played a factor into that game?
Definitely did, yeah. We were already satisfied reaching the playoffs, and having to play Martin again is the 4th time we play him in the quarters out of 8 times. So and he's always tough to beat. We've never beaten him in a quarterfinal, so it was definitely tough. We knew we were going to have to go all in and maybe keep it tight to save some energy in case we win the quarterfinals. We need some energy for the semis. So definitely has a. Like with some more rest, we could have maybe had a better game, but we're still really happy with making playoffs.
How have you guys done against Kevin Martin this season?
I think we're 2-2 now. So this was obviously the biggest game, but we're still having tight games against him, and we get our chances to win the games. But he's still one of the absolutely best players in the world, and tactically he's pretty hard to beat. So. We need to come up with some more ideas and just make a few more shots.
Remember, folks, if you have questions for Nicholas Edin, get them in hashtag GSOC if you're on Twitter. And we want to thank you all for watching. We're, of course, bringing you the Kevin Martin-Brad Gushue matchup, since that's what you voted for on Facebook. But Nicholas, give us a bit of an update on what's going on. Howard and Cotter, looks like they're on skip stones.
Yeah, it looks like Cotter actually is lying 3. So Howard has to make a perfect last shot. I think he's trying for a hit and roll, maybe get the double as well. And if it doesn't make it, Cotter can come back with a 3. Looks pretty good though, so I think he'll make at least a double. Making the double and making the perfect roll. I think Cotter might have a shot for 2, but it will be tough.
Right now, Kevin Martin is taking his time calling this shot, so we will bring you the final stone of this end for the Cotter-Howard matchup. Let's take a look at the house. Mr. Cotter is thinking things through. Just taking a look at what his options are. Nicholas, what do you think he should do here?
I think he's actually looking at the triple for getting a 3. It's a really tough shot, but it's a really tough shot for 2 as well, and he really needs to get some points for getting back in this game. And Howard with hammer is still tough to beat, even though you're tied. So I might look at the triple to try and score 3.
Nicholas, we watched the Ulsrud-Gushue matchup today in the quarters. That was the one we broadcast. And Ulsrud took some chances early on, did not capitalize. Is it difficult to do that, or do you want to take chances at an event like this?
You definitely want to take your chances, but I think it's smarter to wait. In the beginning, in the first 2 or 3 ends, the ice might still be a bit slow, so you might have to wait till you figure the ice out and take your chances at a good time.
Now that Jerry Gertz has finished his hamburger, can we get Mr. Edin a bottle of water, maybe?
Thank you.
He's losing his voice.
Too much yelling.
Too much yelling. And Jerry Gertz has, of course, finished all our water as well.
So this is the last shot coming down from Cotter. Doesn't look too happy with it. No, it's a steal of 1. That game is now going to be pretty tough to come back in.
Before we go back to the Martin game, and we are almost on skip stones here, what's Cotter got to do to get back in? Is it almost impossible, especially against a team of Howard's caliber?
Yeah, I'd say it's a really tough thing. Like you need to score your deuce first, and then just try and get the rocks in play and maybe create a chance to steal a point. But you need to get your deuce back and get some confidence back.
Jerry, whatever kind of beverage we can give our good friend here would be wonderful. Scotch would be fine. Aaron Flowers, our next celebrity guest, has recommended Scotch.
That would make it worse. But
that would make it worse?
Thanks anyways, Aaron. Cheers, buddy.
Nicholas, we're going to let you go in a second so you can catch your voice. I know you've had a long trip so far, but it's 1-0 right now in the 4th end for Kevin Martin. We're on skip stones. What's Brad Gushue thinking here?
Since it's the 4th end, he's definitely going to want to score 2. And since there are 2 guards up and the shot rock in the house is not a shot rock that will get a stolen point for Martin, so it's definitely going to come around the guard to try and score 2.
We've got some Nicholas Edin questions coming in, so before we lose you, first of all, Chris says congratulations on the big win at the Continental Cup. You want to tell us a bit about
that? Yeah, that was a fun event. Probably one of the most fun events I've played. All the teams were good fun, and we had a good fun playing all the different types of games you get in the Continental Cup, and it's kind of like the skills competition that is on right now, and the curling, the hockey skills competition.
Sure.
So it's good fun. The crowd loves it, and we get to play with teams that we normally don't play with.
Ryan asks you, assuming you represent Sweden at the Olympics, who would you prefer to see from Canada? I guess who would you think would be maybe not as difficult competition, or who do you like playing against?
Oh, that's a tough question. Like the
What
top,
do you mean?
Top 10 teams are all really good, and I don't think we could pick a team that we rather like to play, because the team that makes the Olympics is going to be in a great form, and even if it's not the big names like Martin or Gushue, Howard, Stoughton, those guys, if you win the qualification out of Canada, you're a really good team and you're probably in really good form. So I think we'd like to play. Actually, either one of the teams that normally plays the slams, we're good friends with pretty much all of them. So it doesn't really matter. It's going to be tough anyways.
Who have you had more success? The two teams who have been in the Olympics here, Martin and Gushue, that we're watching right now. Who have you had more success against in the
we haven't played Gushue that much, actually. I think we got 1-1 against Gushue. Only played him twice. I played a couple of times against this old team that won the Olympics. I think we had 1-1 against them too. But Martin, we played him, I think it's a number of times, 14 times or something like that. And we've, I think we got 2-2 against him this season. But before that, he had our number every time. So he's really tough to play, and he's got such a great experienced team. So they're always tough to beat, of course.
Okay, give us some analysis here. What are we looking at for Mr. Gushue? What does he have to do here?
He's got to draw for 2. That was a really good attempt by Martin. He had to tap it back, sit on the inside, try and be shot rock. It overcurled and was a little bit light, so he has to draw for 2. He needs to hit full 4-foot.
So Brad Gushue is throwing the final stone of this end. We have our final question for Nicholas Edin. Stuart Bond wants to know, is there good competition for you at home, or do you need to travel a lot to play at this level?
We travel a lot. We only have the Super League back home, actually, and that's 2 weekends. We got 16 teams in that, and winner goes to the national squad, and then we have a Swedish Championships, which is held this weekend that we don't play, and the winner of that gets another spot. So a couple of teams in the national squad, and then from that you need to be number 1 in the order of merit to get picked for Europeans and Worlds. So not too much competition back home. A couple of teams that are really serious, but it's we just we don't have enough curlers to have this kind of competition.
What happened here, Nicholas?
He actually missed the draw for 2. It was heavy, and that's a big mistake from Team Gushue. They had a good chance. I think that was exactly according to the plan. We played a similar game against Martin this like at noon today in the quarterfinal. We had pretty much the same situation, 1-0 for Martin going into the 4th end. We were trying to set up a deuce. Had a pretty good chance, but made a couple of mistakes, and he made some good shots at the end, and similar situation, but he stole one against us. I think this was pretty much exactly the same plan for Team Gushue, and should have worked out if we would have made that draw, but missing it is expensive.
Nicholas, take a look right here. I want to say thank you, everyone who joined us. This has been Nicholas Edin. In case you wondered if it was Jerry Gertz doing a Swedish accent, it was not. Nicholas was kind enough to join us. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
And you're going to stick around for the semis?
Yep.
And for the finals, if you want to watch it, GrandSlamAtCurling.com.
I'm probably going to watch it live.
Yes, you're going to watch it
I'll
live.
come tomorrow.
He's going to be here. Maybe a special guest presentation.
Maybe.
Okay, we thank you very much. We know you've got some fun to have, and you're losing your voice, so we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nicholas. Folks, again, we are bringing you the Kevin Martin-Brad Gushue matchup. We're also giving you some updates from the Howard-Cotter game, and it's looking tough for Jim Cotter. Howard is up 4-0. But we are bringing in our next special celebrity guest, a very good friend of mine. I'm a huge fan. She'll be joining us in a second. Erin Flowers, as many of you know, she is the brains and the beauty behind Gold Line Curling. And I think that we've got quite a few Gold Line teams here, actually. Erin, we are watching Gushue Martin, and are these both Gold Line teams?
Yes, they are. It's very exciting for us. We've actually got 3 Gold Line teams in these semifinals, which is pretty exciting for all of us. And Cotter's looking like he has a bit of a fight here, but the Gushue Martin game looks great.
Erin, how long have you been in the curling business? I know it's a family business for you guys, and it seems like that is the way with a lot of people who are involved in curling. Just tell us about your history with curling.
Well, yeah, it is actually. My grandfather started Gold Line, and I've then my father took it over since I was pretty much in the womb. So it's been a family business. I think there's a bit of child labor going on there for a bit. I was putting brooms together as a small child.
Really?
But, you know, hey, still here.
Yeah, good for you. So a lawsuit is pending is what you're saying.
Pretty much, yeah. Hopefully my father isn't listening because it's coming to a head.
I'm a big fan of your father. He's a very nice man. As far as these slams so far, with 3 of the 4 teams here in our semifinals, is this common for you guys, and how have you managed to get great relationships with some of the top teams in the world?
Well, it's been a process, and we're pretty excited with where our product lines come. We've got our podium shoe has been excellent, and that's what a lot of the teams have responded well to. It's performed really well for us, and we've the curling community is such a fantastic community. The players are really, really great to work with, and it's really a win-win. If they do well in our product, and it's great for our brand, and it's exciting to have teams like this make it this far for all of us at Goldline.
Now, Aaron, we were talking earlier, I believe it was yesterday, and we could barely finish the sentence because you were bombarded by curlers asking for a new product you guys have out at this particular event. Do you want to tell us a bit about that? And maybe if you see it on the ice, we can try to get a bit of an isolated shot on it.
Yeah, actually, it's pretty exciting, and I'm really excited because it's a neat group effort. We've got a fellow from Norway, actually, Halgamer Moen, and I apologize for how I said his first name. We call him Hal. It makes things easy.
That's okay. We've done a lot of that on this broadcast so far.
Yeah, but Hal is from North Barrie, and north of Toronto, in a city called Barrie, and he's brought out a product that Goldline has. Basically, we've got a great relationship with them, and it's a new pad that we've come out with, and this pad has a fantastic material on it that is basically completely waterproof. So I brought these pads to this event, and I gave them to all the boys that we sponsor, and I felt like I was giving out drugs. They pretty
Just like Jerry Gertz.
That's right. That's right. Jerry was on it before anybody.
Wow.
But yeah, if you see anyone with a white pad out there, I believe Johnny Moe's using one, and the guys from Gushue are using one as well. The white's definitely distinctive, but the boys really like them, and we're pretty excited to work with Hal and Allison, this couple from Barrie, to promote these pads. They're, yeah, I'm very excited. All the teams want them for provincials, so it's great to have something take that fast and have performance. And I mean, obviously we have 3 teams in the playoffs now, so kudos to the pads.
Yes. Now, if some of our fans watching online on grandsonthecurling.com or wherever they're watching would like to get a hold of these pads, how do they contact you guys, and how do they make an order? Well,
they're literally brand new, and we're making them right now, pretty much as we speak. And the demand is pretty high, so it's exciting. But they can contact actually. Erin at goldline.ca. I don't mind at all. They're definitely not on our website.
Erin is giving out her email address to all the curling fans and some of the young men listening. Erin at goldline.ca if you'd like to get some wonderful Goldline equipment. What kind of stores can I get them in?
Actually, yeah, we have stores in, we have one store in Mississauga, Ontario, and in East Toronto. We also have a store in London and in Ottawa. So I will be honest, they're brand new, so we won't have them quite yet, but they're coming out very soon, so stay tuned. And we will announce it on our website as soon as we do have them available to the public.
Now, what are the stuff that you currently have in store that people can get? What are some of your more popular items?
Well, we've had great success with kind of the majors, the shoes, brooms, pants, and pretty much this pad's obviously fantastic, but all the above when it comes to equipment has been a great success for us. But you can certainly, the podium model shoe, actually the Gushue boys use our silver model, and I know that a couple of the guys on Martin's team have the golds, and all of Cotter's team's using the golds as well. So podium line's been fantastic. We have a new pant coming out actually for next season for the men. It's a beauty.
Why wouldn't I just wear normal pants? I'm just saying, as someone who doesn't, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't go.
I've got jeans on.
Yeah, jeans. It would be like skiing in jeans, is my theory. It could be a little strapping on certain areas.
So for me, I'd want to get curling-specific pants. What kind of benefits am I going to get from them?
Well, basically what you want is the stretch factor. Curling, obviously, it's not quite Cirque du Soleil, but you're getting yourself in a position that's not so comfy if something's binding. So what you really want is something with some stretch, and we've have some great pants out there that have anything from a 2-way to a 4-way stretch. A lot of the boys use our GLX. They're probably our stretchiest pant, but we do have a new pant coming out that we're actually working on with Johnny Moe. So it's pretty exciting.
Who gets the pleasure of working with John Morris on his new pants?
Well, The specs are interesting. I'll let you know them later. No, yeah, we're...
Tweet in your recommendations. And if anyone would like to help out on that product line, please let us know. Again, Erin's already given out her email address, so...
Yeah, that was dodgy.
She's not shy. And if you have any questions for Erin, we've got her for a little bit. I know you've got a wonderful steak dinner to run off to.
I do.
But if you've got questions for Erin, you can tweet them using the hashtag GSOC. And hopefully Erin can answer those live on the air. If you've got any equipment questions, we know that you've sent in some of your statistical questions for Jerry Gertz, and it now looks like he's finished his 7th meal of the night. So we will have him back very soon to answer some of your...
Oh, he's rolling in now.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, there he is. Tons of fun here.
He is tons of fun. That is the word I was going to use to describe Jerry. But Erin, we just wanted to ask you one more question about Goldline. Mm-hmm. For the Olympics, when Team Martin made the Olympics, how long had you been with Team Martin, and what kind of response did you get when, of course, they were getting some wonderful coverage?
Well, that was huge for us, and we, to this day, that was one of the best moments for our company. And excuse me, we definitely, I guess, the whole just the patrioticness that went through our country was amazing, and to be there, actually, I was actually in Vancouver, and I think. It was definitely one of the highlights and a big check mark off the bucket list. But those boys, we actually worked with them about 4 years prior to the Olympics, and we'd had a good relationship with Johnny and over the years. And then when that team merged together, we ended up working with all of them, and it's been great. Kevin has a store in Kevin's Rocks and Rackets in Edmonton, and we've got to know the team there, and they've been great and supportive of our product. And I think it was great for the whole industry of curling, the Olympics being there. I wouldn't isolate anything to Goldline. We're all in this together, and I think it was fantastic. And it's always fun a post-Olympic year like this, and you can sense a nice growth in the sport due to the Olympics being not only in existence but also in Canada.
Sure.
It was huge. I mean, if we could have the Olympics in Canada every year, I think...
Wouldn't that be fun?
It would be amazing, yeah. But it was great for the boys, and we all, every once in a while I walk out to one of our stores and see some of the pictures we have up of the Olympics, and I just think it was quite amazing to be a part of that.
Okay, we're going to hold this shot for a second here. As far as your curling knowledge is concerned, what is Kevin Martin and Brad Gushue going to do? It's 1-1. We're in the 5th end, and it's a rather defensive game. Not a very high-scoring one. What has to happen here?
This end is... It looks like it's going to be tough to get multiple points, I would think, on this end. I prefer to sell curling supplies than try to talk about strategy, but we'll give it a go.
Okay.
I happen to know someone who's pretty involved in this.
Do you?
But, I would definitely say that Kevin's going to try and hit that, and roll behind the guard would be my guess.
That's your guess?
And a really nice, beautiful roll would be very tough for Brad to... Well, he wants to...
Wow, that's as good as it gets.
He wants to steal. No, I'm sorry, my bad. Martin has the hammer. Wow, I'm lacking here.
That's okay. We've got Jerry coming back very soon.
That's good.
We're really here to talk to you about equipment, but you've got your final 2 stones.
Yeah, no, I would think that, sorry, I just got the hammer time mixed up there. But basically, Kevin wants to roll behind to make it really tough for Brad to get that rock out and possibly score a deuce. I guess the other option to me would be a blank.
Wow.
So he keeps the hammer.
Folks, remember, if you've got any recommendations or any strategy suggestions, you can let us know by using the hashtag GSOC on Twitter. Send that in right now. Jerry will be rejoining us in a second. Unfortunately.
Especially after Erin's been commentating on strategy.
Yeah, that's okay. Jerry's going to come here, and once you leave the room, just let us know what you got wrong, which is fine. I've certainly made my share of errors so far.
Push comes to shove, I'm just a club curler.
Is that right?
Yep.
So what's happening here, Erin?
Okay, well, he's going to play the blank now. He obviously wants to keep the hammer, so that was plan B. Gushue obviously got that rock out, which he could see enough of. So now Martin hopes to hit that and roll out.
Erin, our good friend TJP watching at home has let us know that he's got his PC hooked up to his big screen TV and he's enjoying the curling. So that's nice to hear.
Great.
We knew we'd get curling on TV somehow.
That's right. Well, there's a will, there's a way.
Exactly. But here we go. Kevin Martin looking to blank this end, which would take us into the 6th with a 1-1 tie.
Yes, it's It's a bit of a nail biter.
It is, and we'll update you quickly. We'll get a shot of the scoreboard for Howard versus Cotter. You may have heard a big round of applause. Our friends in British Columbia were cheering their home province hero, Jim Cotter. It is now 4-1, so he's not completely out of the game. It's not going to be easy, obviously. But we want to say thank you to everyone who has been tweeting in and enjoying the coverage. Aaron, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been fun here in Dawson Creek, and Matt and Jerry, you're doing a phenomenal job up here. Thank you for getting this live and on television in some form. It's really great for all of us, and for all of you who don't know, we also sponsor this event, so we really appreciate it from a sponsorship standpoint as well.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you around here. We'll see you afterwards. Hopefully we go for a beverage in the Slam Saloon.
Yeah, I might take us some of that scotch that Edine was pounding back here.
Yeah, exactly. But let Jerry in here now so he can actually bring us up to speed on what's going on.
Okay.
And we'll talk later on. And if anyone wants to get a hold of you, your email address one more time?
You can email me at aaron@goldline.ca or store@goldline.ca is also good.
Okay.
That's customer service.
And at the website, what can I do? What can I pick up on there? I'm looking for some brand new curling supplies. Can I go online?
You can pick up anything from head to toe to make you a better curler.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Jerry Gertz has rejoined us. Aaron Flowers has left the building. Jerry, how have things been so far?
I had about 45 matless minutes.
How was that?
Very enjoyable.
How are your multiple burgers?
They were quite good as well.
I bet. Jerry, bring us up to speed on what's going on. My commentary has been lacking. We've had some wonderful special guests, Pierre Charette, Nicholas Zedin, and of course Aaron Flowers from Goldline. But now that we've got the master back in the booth, what's going on right now in this matchup, Martin versus Gushue, as well as Howard versus Cotter?
With Martin and Gushue, we're seeing very much a defensive struggle here. It's something you've kind of seen Martin merge into over the last 5 or so years, and I think a lot of it is just due to the fact that keeping control of the game is a strategy that keeps them consistently winning. And for Martin, he plays to win the game in all 8 ends, or all 10 ends when they're playing 10 ends. The big thing about that strategy is it's low risk, and at times we can consider it boring. Brett Abbott's commented on Twitter. He said Martin plays a boring and simple style of curling, and this is something that I think we saw last month at the BDO Canadian Open when the 5-rock rule was introduced. And I think that's where the game is going to end up having to go, because teams are going to see how Kevin plays this game, and they're going to start to replicate it as well.
Were you a fan of the 5-rock rule?
Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
What did the curlers think about it?
It stressed a lot of them out a little bit more.
Sure.
Because the big thing is that you've got a 3, 4, 5-point lead, and you still have to play. You still have to play offense. You still have to put guards up, and no lead is safe. The one thing, though, it did seem to do is that there were fewer close final scores. While the games were played out to the end, and there was always some tension in the air for the most part, scores did tend to be a little bit, bigger. The difference in score, and we only had 1 extra end all weekend, I believe, as well. So an interesting number. The stats coming out of it. The sample size is still a little small to know for sure. We're going to have to do some more testing on it, but it was very interesting to see how that all played out.
Jerry, do me a favor here, just for some of the novice curlers like myself. We just saw the leads start things off here. Tell me about that position in curling. Are you basically setting up guards the entire time? What is the strategy like, and what does it take to be a very good lead at elite level curling?
At lead, you have to have a great attention to the little things. At times, the shots at lead can be boring, but you need to be able to always be concentrating, because a simple mistake, you slide a guard in the house, and they can kill an end for a team. You need to be able to be consistent and make the simple shots all the time. And it used to be the day you'd put your weaker curlers down on the front end, but I think now you need one of your strongest players on your team needs to be your lead stone, or you're going to get yourself into trouble and not be able to compete with these teams.
A few more rocks in play during this one. Is this a change up in strategy for either of the teams? Who's determining the flow of this game right now?
This is the sixth end, and Gushue's going to want to, Martin's going to want to score here. Again, just like Nicholas Edin was talking about, Martin has the hammer for 2 of the last 3 ends here. So for him, I think it's important to consider putting a point on the board, especially trying to get multiples here. So you take a little bit of a risk to try and get 2, but at the same time, giving up a steal in this situation is a critical mistake. So you're going to see probably a play for a conservative deuce.
We've gone over 750 viewers for this broadcast, and we want to thank you all for tuning in. Of course, we are going to read out some of your tweets over the air with the hashtag GSOC. A lot of people commentating about the attractiveness of some of our special guests. I thought they were referring to you, Jerry, but perhaps not. Although our good friend Stuart Bond is a huge fan of your hair. To be clear, have you seen Jerry's hair? And of course, JJ, big fan of yours. Jerry, you got a lot of fans out there.
What do you say? I'm a nice guy.
Is that what it takes?
It helps. You might not have much experience with that, but...
No. I'll never forget yesterday, one of our wonderful followers, Shannon Armstrong, telling me I was being mean to Jerry, and I was annoying. Shannon, you couldn't be more right, and I'm sorry. I've done my best to be nice to Jerry, but he abandoned me twice during this broadcast for a cheeseburger. So it's tough to be nice to him. But I'll do my best for the rest of the broadcast. We are here in the 6th end during the Gushue-Martin matchup. Fans voted for this on Facebook.com/curlingslams. And Jerry, since you run about 6,000 websites dedicated to curling, you would well know about the social media explosion that has taken place in the sport. A lot of these players on the ice now have their own Twitter handles. Some are doing a pretty good job on Facebook. We had a conversation with the coach of Team Gushue, and he mentioned that he's actually working with the team on a social media policy so that they're not updating about an hour and a half before games, because I guess it causes a distraction. But what do you think social media has brought to the sport of curling?
I think it allows for teams and players specifically to gain some fans, interact with their fans, and it creates great opportunities for sponsorship and other contests and stuff like that. Team Gushue was probably one of the leaders in this season in getting a Facebook page up and really pushing it hard. Team McEwen, another team that does a great job with Facebook and Twitter. Team Kevin Cooey has recently got on board as well, and their Twitter handle as well, Team Kevin Cooey. Kevin Martin's team, I've seen Benny on there. I can't remember what his account is. It's something like Hebes, I believe. And Johnny Mo Curler is on Twitter as well, and you can follow him too. As for the social media policy, I think it's a good idea for the teams not to do it, and really they should have somebody that handles that for them during games. And I think that's something that a lot of these teams should think about doing, and that way it's not a distraction.
Jerry, speaking of social media here, and we're not encouraging this, but some of our followers are telling us who their favorite curling hottie is. JJ just threw in a vote for Nicholas Edin, one of our celebrity guests so far on this broadcast. We're not recommending that you do that, but if you're going to, please use the hashtag GSOC. We're very excited to make this as interactive as possible.
Make sure you throw Curling Hottie hashtag in there as well. That's
Sure.
a good idea.
Curling Hottie and GSOC demands Jerry Gertz, who's right now tied with Nicholas Edin with 1 vote apiece. Erin Flowers received multiple votes, but those went to her email account, which she erroneously gave out during the broadcast. But Jerry, back to the game here. Martin Gushue, tell us what's going on here. We've seen a lot of blanked ends so far. It's only 1-1 in the sixth end. What are we expecting to see here? Are we expecting to see some points on the board?
Looks like it. Martin came down with a nice freeze in front of the Gushue stone that was behind the tee line. A critical error for teams is to drop their stones behind the tee line, and it looks like Martin is going to be able to take advantage of it here. Gushue is asking Fry to come down with some big weight here, and they're going to try and blast this stone out. This is definitely one of Ryan Fry's biggest strengths. This guy is one of the best hitters on tour. A little bit of a miss in that situation. Ideally, he would have wanted to curl up a little bit more, and you would have seen the shooter and the red rock that was behind it roll into the open together, which would have been a great shot.
Jerry, you said it's a bit of a miss. Tell us some percentage differences between our good friends Ryan Fry and John Morris. How have they been doing in this tournament specifically? These don't seem like guys who miss very often.
I know Ryan Fry has struggled a little bit this weekend. He's down in the high 70s shooting percentage. Where John Morris, normally one of the top thirds out there. He's sitting in 6th overall with 83% this weekend.
John Morris, of course, has skipped his own teams. He's had some success doing that. But playing on Team Martin, and I know I've heard the story, and I'm sure most of our fans here have as well, about Kevin Martin putting his team together. But what does it take for a guy like John Morris to join a team like Kevin Martin, even though you may be able to skip a world-class team yourself? What is the incentive for doing that? And obviously it's paid off with an Olympic championship, but is that something he's going to do for a long time?
Well, it was something that when it first was announced, I think there was a lot of naysayers that wondered how long could this really last. There's a lot of fire in both Kevin and John, and you see it sometimes on the ice as well, where they don't always agree on things, but both of them have an immense drive to be the best, and that's what unites these two and makes them such a great tandem on the back end. Then when you add in a guy like Mark Kennedy, who really should be playing third on any team out here, could skip any team out here, one of the best seconds to ever play the game. Basically you've got Kevin Martin with 2/3 on his team and one of the top leads.
So that was a great shot right there. Tell us what we're expecting to see now. We want to shoot over to the Cotter-Howard matchup in just a few minutes, but as far as the one we're watching right now, what's about to happen here?
Kevin's going to come down and try and use these rocks in the back of the house and freeze to them. Again, take another chance at trying to score his 2 here. Gushue made a great shot there to remove the Martin stones that were frozen in there, and now Kevin's going to have to try and do it again.
Final stones for Brad Gushue and Kevin Martin. It's 1-1 in the 6th end. And we are on skip stones for Howard versus Cotter. That game is going a little slower, and we may be able to get over there in a minute to cover it. But right now, we are bringing you Brad Gushue's final shot of the 6th end. Jerry, what does Brad have to do here?
It looks like he's just going to have to come down and follow Martin down, play a little bit of either a hack weight shot, try and hit it on the nose and remove the backing, or the other option is he can throw some weight at this and try and pick it out clean. So I'm not sure whether he's coming with weight or just going to throw a down weight shot. Just didn't quite curl up enough, and looks like Kevin's going to have a shot for 2 here.
So what's he going to try to do here, Jerry?
He'll just try and throw again, just enough weight to get it to the back, just out the back of the house. He'll hit it a little bit on the inside and stick around for 2.
Our good friend Colin Hodgson, and I'm a big fan of Colin's, is voting for Nicholas as well for the GSOC Hottie. Apparently this is unfortunately taking off due to the presence of one Aaron Flowers. But I'd also throw my vote in for Nicholas. He's now got a 3-1 lead over Jerry Gertz.
I know C. Hodgie is a fan of the flow as well. He's working on a pretty nice mop himself.
He was fairly hairy here. Unfortunately, Team Schlender did go 0-5. Perhaps a new hair strategy is required at their next event.
While they did struggle here, I think it sets those guys up very well for the Alberta Provincials coming up in 2 weeks. Schlender qualified through the A side in the Northern Alberta Playdowns, and they're really looking forward to taking a shot at Martin and Cooey in the Provincials.
So what happened here before we shoot over to the Howard Cotter game?
Martin makes the little down weight hit,
Martin
avoids the back
2.
one, got his 2, and now takes a 3-1 lead in this game.
Okay, we are going to go over now to watch Jim Cotter's final stone. Very crowded house. What is Jim looking to do here, Jerry?
It's Cotter's last stone. Howard has hammer, so he's going to attempt to tap one of his stones up. Howard is lying very nice with 2 rocks in the 4-foot, one on the top of the 4 and one on the back 4. And it looks like Cotter's just going to try and bump his stone into the shot position. If he doesn't make this here, it might be game over.
Glenn wastes no time getting down the ice. Does that mean he's confident he can take a couple?
Yeah, Cotter's shot, I'm not quite sure what he was trying to do there. It looks like he made his shot, but it still leaves Howard sitting 1. And a little bit of damage control on Cotter's end, and I'm wondering if this is all he had, giving Glenn a draw for 2. Just a little update from Colin as well. The mop is a moneymaker for prostate cancer.
Wow.
Fundraiser charity, look for it in November next season. Prostate Cancer Canada, the official charity of the Grand Slam of Curling. So that's great, Colin, and we all appreciate that.
Does that mean Colin is going to keep that haircut until November?
Well, we'll see what he says. Howard makes the draw for 2, adds to his lead, now 6-1 over Jim Cotter after 5 ends at the Pomeroy Inn and Suites National.
Wow, Jerry, you're getting very good at that. 6-1 lead for Howard. No chance at shaking hands now, but is that a possibility if Cotter can't get back in the game in the next end?
They'll likely play at least one more. I'm sure the guys are talking about it right now, trying to figure out what they need to do. But if Cotter can get get a 3 back here, you know, we might have a game.
We are going to get back to the coverage in just a second, but we want to thank some of our sponsors for bringing us in here. We always have a very good time at the Grand Slam of Curling. And we're starting things off with our very good friends at Capital One. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Jerry, you can help me out with some of these things here.
We've got Pomeroy Inn and Suites, the title sponsor of this event.
You're jumping the gun, Jerry. Start with this one right here. GP Car and Home. Thanks to them for, they sponsor 2 events during the tour, or during the slams. The World Cup and the Players' Championship. BDO, Chartered Accountants and Advisors. They, of course, title for the BDO Canadian Open, won by Mike McEwen.
AMJ Campbell, make your best move. It's nice if you do a little editing before you put this paper in front of me.
Goldline, the choice of champions. Our good friend Aaron Flowers was here to promote Goldline. HP, also a proud sponsor of Team Brad Gushue. We may do this again at the end of the broadcast. And of course, Jerry, you mentioned our good friends at Prostate Cancer Canada. And I'll let you do this one again here.
Pomeroy Inn and Suites. Go on, extend your stay.
Very well done, Jerry. You've made us all proud.
It's been we've been staying in the Pomeroy Inn and Suites here in Dawson Creek, and the service has been excellent. Very enjoyable.
But back to the big matchup. The fans voted for this one. Martin versus Gushue on Facebook.com/curlingslams is 3-1. Kevin Martin in the 7th end. And Brad Gushue, I would have to think, is going to play for 2 here. Is that an easy thing to do against Kevin Martin? Obviously one of the best curlers in the world, but is there a chance Brad can get a couple?
There's a chance. You know, it's a team like Gushue, they're very good at playing an offensive game, so they're going to be able to make the shots. The thing with Team Martin, though, is they are by far the best team at defending leads. And, you know, a shot like that from Mark Kennedy, that's really what makes that team so strong, is they get a lead and they're a great front runner, and they don't give that lead back very often. Looks like at this point Gushue's going to kind of change gears here a little bit. Looks like he's going to play a little hit here, trying to make the hit and roll. Just play this a little bit more conservative. Try not to get himself into too much trouble and get forced into a single. If he blanks this end, he can always take the hammer to the 8th end and try and get his 2th end and try and steal the game in an extra.
We're getting more votes for Nicholas Adine as the curling hottie. Overwhelming the servers at Twitter. They may shut down. Nicholas Adine, curling hottie, internet sensation. I'm going to change my vote to Colin Hodgson. So he's now tied with you, Jerry Gertz. But between the 3 of you guys, some very interesting haircuts. And of course, our cameraman, video producer, technical director, Jesse Wachter is throwing in a vote for Darcy Halfso. Halfso couldn't make it to this event. Instead was replaced by Donnie Bartlett. That Team Schlender has about 5 members on it at all times. But if Colin Hodgson can do us a favor and give us some of his favorite Don Bartlett quotes from the week I was following that. Fascinating stuff coming from the mouth of one Don Bartlett. Unfortunately, they did not do too well in this particular event here at the Pomeroy Inn and Suites National, but that made him more chatty, apparently.
At least they had a good time.
They did seem to have a good time. We want to thank the 852 of you watching right now. It's been our pleasure to bring you this broadcast. And we thank you for sitting through some of our technical errors. Of course, our curling expert, Jerry Gertz, has bailed on me multiple times, but he's been here for a few consecutive ends, and Jerry, I want to thank you for that.
I appreciate the opportunity to come hang out here in the Capital One Grand Slam of Curling streaming TV booth.
Yep.
So it's been a lot of fun. Learning a lot and really enjoying this broadcasting gig we've got going on here. Nice shot by John Morris picking out the Gushue stone that was buried around the corner guard. Gushue now is going to use that rock in the top of the 12th foot as a guard and try and freeze to the back red rock. I like this strategy a lot, especially on the ice like this that curls so much. You can use rocks tight to the house and in the house to hide behind.
Now, folks, this one definitely looks like it's going to go the distance between Kevin Martin and Brad Gushue. Not a lot of points on the board. Depending on how things go for Glenn Howard and specifically Jim Cotter, we may shoot over there to bring you some coverage of that one.
Great shot by Gushue third, Ryan Fry. Frees us to the back, and now he's forcing Martin to have to draw here as well. And you know, anytime you're behind and you can force the opposition to start having to throw draw shots with you, your goal is accomplished. And now there's a little bit of room for Gushue to try and sneak out a deuce here. Martin comes down, it's a little heavy, and he chaps off Gushue's stone. Leaves the door wide open here for Gushue to get a deuce back.
Jerry, do me a favor while we're watching our good friend Brad Gushue make up his mind here. Remind everyone when they can watch the finals tomorrow at GrandSlamOfCurling.com. We will, of course, be live streaming the finals. Any one of these four teams could be there. We will have some more special guests, but when can our viewers and fans tune in?
We'll be broadcasting here from Dawson Creek at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, which works out to 1 o'clock Eastern Time. So tune in and come check us out.
And you're going to be joining us again?
I will be back.
And you'll eat before the broadcast?
As long as they deliver the food in time.
That's not the question, Jerry Gertz. The answer is, even if I have to starve myself, I will not abandon you again during the broadcast.
Oh, it's time for you to sink or swim there, Matt.
I've been sinking since the beginning. You are my flotation device, Jerry Gertz.
You're just going to drag me under with you then.
It's more than likely. We are on skip stones at the Cotter-Howard matchup. Jerry, what's going on over there? We'll get a shot of the house here and show everyone what it looks like.
Howard's got a couple stones in there. Cotter again in trouble. He may have a shot here to lie 3. Again on short little run back to double those 2 yellows out. He should be able to keep the shooter in play, and then it'll probably leave Howard a double to then give Cotter a shot for 2 to finish the end off.
We'll go back to Brad Gushue right now, taking his first shot of the 7th end here, but we will keep you up to date on the Cotter-Howard game as it develops.
Gushue's decided to draw back to the collection of stones in the 4-foot. Trying to put it right on the top of the button. Gushue's sweepers bring it in. Hung out a little bit for them, so Martin's going to have an opportunity here to get those rocks moving. He may be able to make the double.
We will get you back to that one. Unfortunately, missed a wonderful shot by Team Jim Cotter.
The roar of the crowd told the whole story.
Yeah, he is definitely the hometown hero right now. We're going to bring you Glenn Howard now. Glenn's got a bit of a difficult shot in his hands. if he doesn't want to give up a few to Jim Cotter. Jerry, what's Glenn looking to do here?
He'll just make the straight double here on the top, and you know, giving Cotter 2 points back here is a good end for Howard. Just misses the triple. Good shot. Cotter's going to draw for 2, and we're going to have a little bit more curling there. Martin comes down with big weight, attempting to make the double. Shot rolls off a little bit, and you don't quite get it out. So it looks like Gushue's going to have a little tap here to remove that red stone in the back there.
Folks, it looks like Jim Cotter will take 2 here. If he doesn't, we will get over to that game pretty quickly. But in the meantime, take a look at what Brad Gushue is facing here. He is down 3-1 against Kevin Martin. And final stone for a chance to get back into this game. And Jerry, what is your estimation here? What's going to happen?
Yeah, this is a very makeable shot here. He'll come down with backline weight. He's just got to move it a couple feet back. This is Brad Gushue's bread and butter here.
And folks, you can hear from the crowd, Jim Cotter did get his 2 points. 6-3 for Glenn Howard. But here we are watching Brad Gushue trying to get himself tied up with Kevin Martin heading into the 8th end.
Gushue makes the shot, scores 2, and ties up the game. We're heading into the final end of the semifinal between Brad Gushue and Kevin Martin, tied at 3 points at the Pomeroy Inn and Suites National.
Very well done, Jerry. Getting again some more tweets, and if you'd like to have us read them out during the broadcast, just send us with the hashtag GSOC. Wayne wants to know, have the teams who are eliminated stayed to watch? Well, I have seen some Norwegians in the building. And of course, Nicholas Adine did join us for some celebrity coverage. He was fantastic, lost his voice a little bit. Got him some scotch to get his voice back. But some of the teams, especially the international ones, do stick around. And Jerry, who else do you think might be in the building? Maybe having a flight tomorrow or a long drive on their hands?
Yeah, it really comes down to costs and changing flights. A lot of teams at this level, they'll book their flights to leave, you know, on a Saturday evening or Sunday morning, and then if they qualify, they'll change their flights using the money that they've made to bump it back a little bit. Always feels better to have to change your flights when you've got some extra money in the bank to pay for the flight changes.
Now, folks, we have broken the 900 viewer mark, which is just fantastic. We want to say thank you so much. A bit of a last-minute broadcast here. But to have, at this point, 907 viewers is certainly beyond our expectations. Will we get 1,000 today? I guess that's the goal. So
tell your friends.
If you've got friends out there who are interested, please let them know that we are broadcasting this Grand Slam matchup between Kevin Martin and Brad Gushue here on GrandSlamOfCurling.com or wherever else in the world you may be finding it. Jerry has about 1,000 sites that he's embedded this link on. Jerry, some of those sites may be
curlingzone.com, worldcurlingtour.com, and grandslamofcurling.com.
Very nice. 9:16 and counting. Let's see if we can get to 1,000. Jerry, it is 3-all. Kevin Martin, Brad Gushue in the 8th. What are we expecting to see here? Who's got the advantage, and what is the strategy going in? Look at that sweeping. Those guys are in great shape after 2.5 hours.
The key here is for Gushue to get 2 guards up front, but a miss with their first one and was really unfortunate for the team. And Martin's going to be able to try and play the tick here again to get rid of this one.
I'm going to ask you a novice curling fan question. Can anyone sweep once the rocks are in play there, or is it only a certain team?
And that's a special case there with the center guard. You used to see teams, they'd bring one of their other sweepers down and they'd try and have two of them try and sweep that ticked center guard out of play. And now only the person in charge of the house, the skip, is allowed to sweep, and that's opposing your own stone when the opponent throws in that situation. When the other team is throwing, you're allowed to sweep your own stone at any time, and you're allowed to sweep the opposing stone behind the tee line. And outside of that, you're not allowed to sweep the ice.
Jerry, got a question here from Greg Blyde using the hashtag GSOC. He wants to know, what are the chances of Gushue stealing here?
You know what? This is one of the situations where Kevin Martin falls into the average team category. Teams are going to, in men's play, you're going to see teams steal about 25%. They're going to win 1 out of 4 games, tied without the hammer. And we've seen several situations over Kevin Martin's career where he's struggled with this part of his game. And so he is human if you can get him to this situation. The thing here is, though, that the last few years, Ben Hebert has really transformed this team with his ability to make these tick shots. And so Kevin's record has improved over the last few years in that situation. And I think that you can attribute that a lot to his style of play overall, too. Low risk, play all 8 ends, all 10 ends to win the game. So in this situation, you see, you'll see a lot of times a team will continue to throw center guards up, but when you look at Martin's team, they're such good peelers that it's a bit of a waste to do that. So what Gushue's doing here is he's now going to try and work on crowding rocks closer to the button as possible, and try and sit too, so to make Martin's shot a little bit more difficult in the end. I like this strategy for Gushue. He throws it behind the corner guard, uses it, and now he's going to try and throw guards up front a little bit closer to the middle. So he'll kind of show Martin a piece of that rock in the house, maybe tease him with the peel, and try and get the other one in the house. You're not going to get too many misses out of Team Martin with just straight up peels. So sometimes you got to make the shots a little bit more complicated for them and try and draw them into missing.
$920 viewers right now tuning in for this semifinal matchup between Team Kevin Martin and Team Brad Gushue. Stefan Kruger, and I assume I'm pronouncing that correctly, wants to know when our cool commentary will appear on national TV. Not anytime soon, I can only imagine. I don't think they would allow Jerry in front of the cameras, but I could be wrong. Jerry, is this your first time doing this sort of thing?
No, I did some broadcasts for Rogers TV at the Stu Sells Toronto Tankard earlier this year.
How did that go over for you?
It felt pretty good. It was the first time ever in the booth. A few nerves, and I'm actually really enjoying this. It's a lot of fun.
You're having a good time now?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, wow. Thank you all for your positive comments, and any constructive criticism is always welcome. We are doing our best to bring you a broadcast that you'll enjoy. In fact, that's why we're presenting the Kevin Martin-Brad Gushue matchup. Fans voted for this on Facebook.
Gushue's just going to continue throwing up these corner guards. Martin's going to continue peeling them off. And it's going to come down to Gushue's last rock, where he'll likely try and either draw to the other side of the 8-foot or maybe put one on the top of the 8-foot out front. Sit two and make Martin have to draw or play a hit against multiple. points.
Before we bring you that, we're going to take a look at the conversation going on with Jim Cotter. Just to finish things off here, he's in a pretty tight spot. Take a look. Jerry, is this it for Jim?
His first rock of the 7th end. Looks like he's going to try and draw around these 2 stones on the side of the 8-foot over there. This is pretty much a Hail Mary at this point. Howard's sitting several in there, and Jim's just trying to do anything he can to hide at this point.
We will follow this shot, and then we will get back to the Gushue-Martin matchup.
Gushue's just throwing the guard back up again. I'll let you know if anything changes there.
It is 6-3 for Glenn Howard. They are in the 7th end, but things are looking a little dire for Jim Cotter. The fans are definitely behind him. I think that's become quite apparent. But as Jerry said, it's going to take a Hail Mary for them to get this out of Glenn's hands.
So we should jump back to the Martin game. There's an interesting discussion going on in the house here. Martin's looking at some options here. Gushue threw the guard up, and now Kevin is discussing with John what he wants to throw on his last rock. So his considerations is to draw to the open side and sit shot. If Kevin wants to force Gushue into putting one on the other side, you know, he'll go there first, and then Gushue will have to hit it to sit 2. The other option for Kevin at this point is for him to draw behind the corner guard as well, right where John's got his broom now. And in that situation now, Gushue's going to have a hard time hiding, because if he's not sitting first and second, Martin just needs to make it go away.
For the 936 of you who are joining us, if you have any opinions on what Kevin or Brad should do, go ahead and let us know on Twitter using the hashtag GSOC. And Jerry, you have a question from Ian Thomas Strong. Why does Team Martin and Gushue make the choice to have a hitting match instead of drawing or guarding most of the time?
I think it really just comes down to the fact that Kevin Martin plays a more defensive battle generally, because he finds that's the best way for him to win. He consistently wins more games that way. So, you know, it's not quite as exciting for the fans, but it's what makes this team so great. And for Gushue, it's a case of, you know, to give yourself a chance to beat Kevin, you got to keep the game close. And that strategy has worked for Nicholas Edin in the past, and now you're seeing a few other teams copy that as well. So Martin's draw did not curl as much as he expected. It was a little bit heavy. I think he was looking to go back. He was looking to go on the tee line into the 8-foot, and it just ran a little straight on him. So they asked the sweepers to take it to the back of the house.
We're going to get a quick shot here of the handshake. Glenn Howard has secured his spot in the finals. I want to remind everyone that the finals for the Capital One Grand Slam of Curling here in Dawson Creek, British Columbia will be live at GrandSlamOfCurling.com. You'll be able to see that at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. But right now we are going to continue to bring you the very interesting matchup between Team Kevin Martin and Team Brad Gushue. Pierre Charette, one of our celebrity guest commentators today, giving a shout out to Team Cotter, who gets a wonderful round of applause from the fans here at the Pomeroy Inn and Suites National. But right now we are getting into the head of Brad Gushue. Jerry Gertz, what does Brad have to do here to steal this away from Kevin Martin?
Right now they're discussing what they want Kevin to do. You know, what do you think there's a possible chance of something he might miss? And the discussion for Brad is he's considering drawing a rock a quarter around that guard, forcing Kevin to have to draw the 4-foot for his win. The only problem with that shot is that Brad has very little room to work with to sit shot. And even if he does make it, Kevin will actually be able to just draw right up to his stone he just threw in the back of the 8-foot and still sit shot. So, you know, not sure the team's really in love with that shot. I think Brad wanted to go there. Now they're looking at drawing and sitting in front of the stone, the back of the 8-foot that Kevin just threw. You know, see if they can force Kevin into having to hit this and maybe get a jam out of it.
Jerry, we got a tweet here from Robert Mayhew suggesting that Martin should peel. Maybe that's a little delayed. And Robert, if you've got a suggestion for Kevin after Brad's shot, please let us know.
Yeah, I think that was from the last shot where Kevin just threw the draw. And I think for 95% of the teams out there, I think the peel is the right call. Get rid of that rock out front and play that shot. The thing is, I really see it out of Kevin a lot, and I think they take the strategy in the game to a whole new level. And they are so good at placing stones that they can now play shots to dictate what they want their opposition to throw and what he wants to throw on his last shot. So when he throws that draw onto the side of the house, he's actually forcing Gushue to have to play a certain way that he wants to play as well. So, you know, for Martin, I think that's a great shot call, and I've really seen that evolve in his game the last few years as well.
.959 viewers joining us for semifinals between Team Kevin Martin and Team Brad Gushue. And Jerry, what's the call here? What's Kevin Martin going to do?
Kevin's going to draw the button.
Draw to the button for the win.
You know, something else that adds a lot of confidence to Kevin's game is these two sweepers he has in front of him. Mark Kennedy and Ben Hebert, probably the best in the game right now. You see Martin win the draw to the button most of the time, and a lot of that comes down to his great sweeping.
Jerry, you got some numbers for me? What are the chances that Kevin misses this? This 100%?
He'll make this. The great thing about this shot as well is this is the proper way to use backing. If Kevin is a little heavy, they can sweep hard and bring it right to the yellow stone. Looks good. Kevin Martin will join Glenn Howard in the final tomorrow at 11 o'clock with a 4-3 victory over Brad Gushue.
Team Howard versus Team Martin, the classic, 11 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, we're going to have the start of the $1 million button, with the final of the $1 million button at 10:30 just before game time. Congratulations to Team Martin. I want to have the Team Gushue for a great move.
Well, everyone, I want to say thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the coverage of Kevin Martin versus Brad Gushue. Kevin takes this one and will meet Glenn Howard in the finals tomorrow. And Jerry, what was the secret for Kevin's success today?
Just plain shot making. Kevin had a great game in the high 90s himself. His team struggled a little bit in front of him, but Kevin made up for all of that today.
Okay, tomorrow we are back live on the air. We're going to start things off for the Capital One $1 million button. That'll be at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. That's at noon if you're on the East Coast. You can watch all of this at GrandSlamCurling.com. And then, of course, at 11 Mountain Standard Time, we will be taking you the matchup between Kevin Martin and Glenn Howard. It's two heavyweights of the curling world. And Jerry, who do you expect to take that one?
It'll be a great game. That's all I can predict at this point.
It'll be a great game. Please join us, and again, interact with us on Twitter using the hashtag GSOC. We look forward to seeing you all tomorrow here live from Dawson Creek, British Columbia. Jerry, thank you very much.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, everybody.